Yo, what's going on, guys? Winter Kills here, and welcome to a brand new deck profile video. Today, I'm very excited to bring you guys yet another first place Marincess Locals deck profile. Went 4-0 with this deck the other day, and I'm also in another online cash tournament, much like I was the last time I made a video like this. Also undefeated in that right now. Tournament's not over yet. I'll update the pinned comment on this video as that tournament progresses to let you guys know how it goes. But the list I'm playing in that tournament is the same exact list that I'm playing here. And it's the same exact list that I played in Locals, except for 2 cards are different. And I'll tell you guys what those are. I'll tell you guys the matchups and everything towards the end of the video, or I'll leave them in the pinned comment of this video. So don't forget to check that out if you want to see what decks I've been playing against. So yeah. Before we hop into the profile, though, I'd like to let you guys know that if you're interested in this beautiful playmat here, 2-player cloth playmat from Imperium Duelist, kind of Master Duel themed. If you want to grab one, you can. It's available on their site right now. At least I believe it is. I don't think it's sold out yet. But if you want to buy anything on their site, this mat included, don't forget to use my discount code WinterKills10 off at checkout to save 10% off your entire order and support the channel. And if you guys are picking up any Marincess cards, feel free to use my affiliate link to TCG Player found in the description of all my videos. Anytime you guys shop and check out using that link, a small bit of the revenue from your purchase goes right back in the channel and helps out a ton. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and get into the profile here. I'm also going to try to make these deck profile videos a lot shorter. In the past, I know they've been 30 minutes plus, but I think for just YouTube reasons, we're going to try to keep them very quick. If you guys have any questions, things that I might not have been able to cover in detail in here, feel free to shoot me a comment down below. So our first card here we have is 3 Marincess Blue Tang. We'll go ahead and zoom in just a little bit. Yeah, still hands down like one of the best normal summons in the deck. Nothing's really changed there, even with the new support. So still mandatory 3 of. And then we have 3 copies of Marinza Spring Girl. A lot of the cards in this deck, like Spring Girl, Seahorse, these cards can get juggled around mid-combo. Before the new support, Seahorse was the only card. Now we have Spring Girl that kind of does the same thing. You can just kind of juggle it around your whole combo before you even actually use its effect. This card's incredible. Milling Floodgate cards in games 2 or 3, like Token Collector off this card, absolutely bonkers. You can even do Necroworld Banshee too if you really wanted to, solely because the Zombie World doesn't really hurt this deck. The only thing it turns off is Splash Mage. But yeah, 3 Spring Girl. I've seen some lists play 2, but I wanted to play you know, as many as the level 4s that I could play in this list as possible for reasons when we get to the Shark package. Yeah, 2 Pascalis. I wouldn't play 3 of this solely because it can't summon itself, and if I ever want to see a copy of it, I have Sign Up Mining to go grab it, so I think 2 is perfectly fine. The Spell and Trap Recursion is also amazing. Then we have 2 copies of Marinza Seahorse. So this is a card that was probably a mandatory 3 of ever since the deck came out, at least until now. I don't think you have to play 3 of this card. For me, it was either drop Spring Girl to 2 or drop Seahorse to 2, and dropping Seahorse 2 to made the most sense. Because, like I said, I want to see the level 4 Marincesses in my opening hand because of the Shark combo, which is just so good. You get Toadon for the summon, and I will be doing a combo and test stand video in the future, so you guys have that to look forward to, so I can show you guys these things. But yeah, dropping Seahorse to 2 made the most sense. Like I said, I wanted to fit Mandarin in. Didn't want to cut like a going second card. I didn't think that was correct. And this was like the most cuttable card, even though this card is absolutely insane. It's a 1-card link 4 all on its own. And its graveyard effect like comes up like once every maybe 30 matches, honestly, but it does come up sometimes. So 2 Seahorse. Wish I could play all 3 of the Starlights, but you know, I think 2 is probably correct for now. Then we have 2 copies, or well, 1 copy of Sleepy Maiden and 1 copy of Mandarin. Yeah, so this is how I had to fit the Mandarin in. By dropping the Seahorse to 2. Didn't want to drop a level 4 like I already said. Mandarin is really clutch in here because off of dive, like turn 3, this card is a 1 card that can turn into 2 bodies. You can either link, assuming you already have a link 4 on board, like Bubble Reef or Argonaut, assuming it survives the turn, you can summon out Mandarin from the deck, link it into either a Sea Angel or a Blue Slug, and then this can just bring itself back if you have the proper zones or the arrows to, you know, to summon it to. And it's 1 card that can become 2 bodies, which is really strong. Really like this card a lot for that reason. And it comes up a lot in the Shark combo if you open up Blue Tang, because the Silent Angler locks you out of summoning things from the hand. And this is the only Marincess extender that can summon itself from the grave, which is really important. You know, when you can't summon things from the hand. Then we have 1 copy of Sleepy Maiden. Its on-field effect is nice sometimes. It's really only like something you can pull off, like if you're in a really winning position where you don't need the body to actually link off with. and you can just leave the Sleepy Maiden on field, either targeting the Battle Ocean or your Link 4. So yeah. The most important thing about this card, like, I would want to cut this card just because it does sometimes make bad hands worse, just because it can't be normal summoned. But the graveyard effect to target a Marincess Link you control and equip it with another one from grave, that comes up a lot because it allows you to use things like Argonaut in the main monster zone, or allows you to use things like Argonaut in the EMZ if you don't have Battle Ocean up, so you can still make the negate live. And it's just another monster you can banish during your combo to help Bubble Brief boost itself up. And then here we have the Shark package, which consists of 3 Abyss Shark and then 2 copies of the Silent Angler. So yeah, this package is absolutely phenomenal. Like, this engine just overperforms in this deck. You could argue Silent Angler's like the Garnet, but like Angler's just Angler, as cards have been played in this deck on and off for, you know, many years. This is a level 4 body, and if you draw it, that's just really all it is. You can hold it till the end of the combo to Link Climb into your Link 4, or you can combo with your any level 4 Marincesses to go into Kragan or Bahamut Shark. Really clean. But Abyss Shark says, you know, if all monsters you control are water, you can summon it from your hand, and then you can add a level 3, 4, or 5 fish monster from your deck to your hand, so it would be Silent Angler. And then the next battle damage your opponent would take from a number monster battling another monster is doubled, which is kind of cool. Comes up sometimes, not most of the time, but it does come up sometimes. So yeah, Abyss Shark is like a 1-card rank 4, or it's 2 free water bodies on field to be able to Link Climb with. Like, because I think one time I got debarriered, my opponent called Xyz. I was like, fine, I'll just use the Abyss Shark and the Silent Angler to Link Climb into other monsters. Because, you know, you can still make like Marbled Rock, Anemone, Eerie the Water Charmer. Those are all kind of like generic links. Like Splash Mage, which requires Cyber, so you can use these cards. And all your Link 4s are generic as well. So these cards can help you climb into those. But this card helps apply so much pressure. A lot of people are going to be ashing other things like your Sea Angel, your Coral Triangle, cards like that, right? Or your dives if you're trying to summon from deck. And then they just, you know, don't use Ash on this, which is like, Ash in this card I think is really strong. Also, I'm playing 2 Angler. You could argue you could just play 1. But if you don't have an Angler in deck to search off this, you can't resolve the effect. So I wanted to make sure that, you know, if I drew Angler and Abyss Shark, that Abyss Shark could still be live. Because there are still some lines where you can normally Angler, summon Shark, get the Angler, summon the other Angler, make Bahamut, summon Toad, and then make Iria. Or you could even go into like Anemone, and then Anemone can bring back the Angler, and then you can make Marbled Rock. Marbled Rock can recycle the Anemone. If you have Wave in hand, boom, you have a Wave play plus Toad off of just, you know, a subpar hand. But I really love the Shark engine. It helps you make Bahamut with other level 4s. Obviously, you can't use Abyss Shark to make Bahamut, but you can make Stealth Kragan with the Abyss Shark too. Really love it a lot. Absolutely insane. Then we have our hand traps here, which are a good chunk of the deck. I think I play 14 going second cards. We have 3 Ash, we have 3 Nibiru, just all crazy cards this format. 3 Effect Veiler, 2 Ghost Ogre. I really like Ghost Ogre a lot for just adventurer decks. There are so many of them. Also, Ogreing Hulk too sometimes is really strong. So I just wanted to fill my deck with like some of the best hand traps at 3 apiece. And then I played 3 Forbidden Droplet as another going second card. I see some people playing Imperm in this deck. I don't like Imperm in this deck because you can draw it off of your Bubble Reef during your opponent's standby, and then it's a hand trap in your hand that does absolutely nothing. Now you could say the same thing about Forbidden Droplet. That is correct, but this card is way more higher impact than Forbidden Droplet is. Crazy 6-card draw, better than Imperm. Can trade with the whole field, and you can just basically like Droplet for 4, and then normal summon Blue Tang, do full combo, right? Or you can like Droplet for 3 if you have a level 4 and Abyss Shark. You can just apply so much pressure. This card has won me so many games with this deck just because like you can always afford to drop it away a decent amount of cards, and this card just cracks many boards in the game right now. Also, not to mention, this card has cool synergy because you can set it going first, and then if you have your 3 equips from your Battle Ocean, you can just send off 3 to negate like an entire field while they're trying to build their board, and then just hit them with a rock or something. I really like just like doing like a 1-for-1 trade though, where like you go Droplet, send off Anemone, and then, you know, you negate a card, and then Anemone gets you a card back, which is really cool. Some nice synergy there. And then we have 3 copies of Sign Up Mining. Yes, going -1 kind of sucks at the start of the combo, but your combo will get you that -1 and more back. And also, you know, I think it's a fair trade-off having to discard a card, assuming that this can be any of your Marincess cards minus Sleepy Maiden. But, you know, having this essentially be like another Pascalus in your hand, or a Blue Tank, or a Spring Girl, or a Mandarin, whatever it may be, this card is really clutch. So I think 3 is definitely correct. Then we have 2 copies of Dive. I think 2 is fine. We're also on the 1 Battle Ocean, obviously. I was playing 3 for a little bit, but the card honestly seems a little cloggy. This card can make bad hands worse. It can help better hands be even better, of course, but like a lot of your combos, assuming you play it right, you don't always need Dive, and you're pretty much going to prioritize the Battle Ocean search anyways, because having this card in rotation really strong, allows you to have Argonaut as a negate, allows your monsters to be huge, makes it hard for your opponent to get over them in the battle phase, right? And just reoccurring your links to get like an enemy back in the grave every turn to act as a way to recycle your cards, very, very important. But I think 2 Dive is fine again. I wouldn't play 1, I think 1's too little. I think 2 is the good number because you can either like mill it mid-combo off your Spring Girl, you can mill it off your Blue Tang, or you can just outright search it if you already have the Ocean. Or vice versa, if you already see the Dive, you can just grab the Ocean. I don't really miss the 3rd. I did play 3 for quite a while, but I don't miss it. Then we have 1 Call By because this card is crazy, should be banned. Then we have 1 Signet Crosswipe. This is like a Mystic Mine out, and it's also like removal, which the deck kind of lacks, so it's kind of cool that it's like it can act as like a pseudo mine out and also act as a way to help go through back row and just be a removal card in general. Tribute a Cyberse monster, then target a card on the field, destroy it. So you can even like tribute your Bubble Reef off, you know, during the end phase, pop one of their cards, and then the mine will destroy itself. So it's like 1 card that can like trade equally with your, you know, play you just made because you use the Crosswipe and get rid of 1 of your monsters. So that's 2 cards, and then they lose 2 cards. So it kind of makes things like a little balanced out card advantage wise. And then we have 1 copy of Wave. It's searchable. Drawing this card going second is bad, so I wouldn't really play more than 1. Like it would seem cool to play more than 2 because you could wave your opponent twice in 1 turn. But most of the time, like you only need the 1 wave to resolve, and then like other hand traps you have or interruptions you have set up are just going to be enough anyways. So yeah, that is the main deck, 40 cards. We're going to the extra deck where we have 1 copy of Sea Angel, our Spell Searcher. Don't think I've ever wanted more than 1. I mean, 2 definitely does come up sometimes, like in super grind games, but if you manage your resources correctly, you only need the 1. 2 copies of Blue Slug. Adding back cards is pretty nice, I heard. Then we have 1 copy of Splash Mage, 1 copy of the Water Charmer. This in here specifically, not just because like I want to try to take waters out of my opponent's grave, but because Abyss Shark requires the whole field, your whole field to be all waters only. So if you have a Nib on your field, if you have a token collector, if you have a Nib token, whatever it may be, you can't resolve Abyss Shark. You have to have a completely water only field. And Abyss Shark area lets you basically get non-waters off the field. I was playing Talents in the locals build. I think I had cut one of the Ogres and the Crosswipe. At least I wasn't playing those yet, and those were 2 talents. So, like, in theory, you had the extra synergy being able to take something and then link it off so you didn't have to give it back to him. And then the other Marincess links here for Link 2, we have 2 copies of Coral Anemone. You know, recycles a card when it hits the grave. Monster Reborn on legs. Really, really strong card. Helps you link climb. One thing that I'm not playing here is Marincess Crystal Heart. Like, you end up really never going for the immune link anyways, because like you can already search Wave, and Wave is making your cards immune anyways, so it kind of seems redundant to try to set up the Crystal Heart play, you know, for the unaffected thing, when you can just make everything unaffected with Wave every turn anyways, because you can recycle this card. This is something I saw top tier gaming YGO doing, so shout outs to him on one of his recent deck profiles. He wasn't playing Crystal Heart, and I thought, you know, a little bit prior to that, I was like, you know, Crystal Heart does seem like a little bit more cuttable nowadays. And then I saw him, you know, not playing it, and he found success with it, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try it too. It might seem like blasphemy to not play Crystal Heart in this deck, but like you really just don't need it. A lot of times your hand doesn't allow you to go for that kind of play and still get to search Wave and still make Bahamut Shark and Toad, which I think is honestly just better than going for the unaffected link. You could argue that Crystal Heart helps you play around Nibiru by making your links unaffected very early, but trust me, that takes like way too many cards to be considered consistent, when you could just open up any level 4 Marincess plus Abyss Shark and you beat Nibiru anyways and still end an Argonaut plus your Wave. And it just frees up a slot in the extra deck, which is like kind of nice because this deck I think needs utility in the extra deck to help it be more like competitively viable, instead of just having a bunch of links turn 3 that really don't help apply any pressure. Then we have 1 Coral Triangle, searches your trap, which is just, it's bonkers, and its graveyard effect is insane. There are some hands where if I open up Wave, I'll still make the Coral Triangle just to get it in grave, so I have it as follow-up for next turn, because the follow-up this card gives you is phenomenal. Then we have 1 Marbled Rock. Recycling cards is great. Negating attacks is good too. This throws a lot of people off guard because they'll try to like run over your board If you're like kind of low on card advantage, you can just like pitch a monster or two, not a once per turn effect, and you can just like negate a bunch of attacks, and then you can just grab your starter back on the next turn with Marbled Rock, and then do your combo there and Link Climb. And then we have one copy of Bubble Reef. Basically, Heat Soul kind of lets you draw by banishing a water every standby phase. Gain 600 each time a monster is banished face up. Gain 600 for each. And allows you to basically discard a water, summon back a banished Marincess. And one of my favorite plays is like, I'll make Argonaut turn 1 most of the time. There are some hands that call for making this first, but you'll make this first because it's like a free, you know, spell trap negate. Then I'll banish this off of Spring Girl, and then Bubble Reef will just bring it back. And then I have a bounce on field, so I can like dive out a card, Argonaut bounce it back to my hand, and then normal it or special it depending on the card. So some cool synergy between those two. One access code. This is in here because like I really just couldn't figure out what else to put in. I was kind of thinking the second Sea Angel, but I feel like this card has the potential to serve like a better purpose than the second Sea Angel does. Just being a big Link 4 that you can climb into on turn 3 to banish a water and pop a card, and then you can even just banish itself, pop another card, and that's going to give your Bubble Reef another 1200 attack, and you just cleared 2 cards off their field and they couldn't respond to it. So yeah, and even that, it's just like a free 5300 body that doesn't require like Battle Ocean to get huge, which is kind of nice. Then we have one Bahamut, one Toad, obviously, and then one Stealth Kraken. This card is nuts. I thought about making this the Stealth Kraken spawn, so if they kill this, I get the spawn, and if they kill the spawn, I get the Kraken back. I would do that if this card said, if this Ixie summon card is destroyed, because like if it didn't say that, you could just like keep looping them. That'd be really strong, and then at that point I'd feel like it's worth it, but I don't know if it's worth it if it's worded like that, because then you can't like keep looping it with the spawn. But yeah, this card is insane. It makes everything water, and then you can non-target pop a water, and then they just take half damage equal to the monster's attack that it had on the field, which is kind of crazy, especially in time. And then we'll go into our side deck. Shout out to Watt Woodpecker. We have 3 Droll and Log. This card probably should be in your main or side deck somewhere right now, this format, in my opinion. 3 DD Crow, because we respect the Despia matchup. 2 Token Collector, because of Sword Soul and because of the Adventurer decks. 3 Cosmic Cyclone. Back row Hate. This helps beat Scythe, unlike Twin Twister. And I just don't really think Twin's super necessary right now. Because like a lot of the floodgates, like you can play through Gozen, you can play through Rivalry, you can't play through TC Boost, so you need something like this. And then, you know, Mystic Mine out, games 2 and 3, more of them. And that's pretty much it. Like, I wish I could fit Red Reboot in here, but this deck can't OTK. So like Red Reboot sometimes feels like it's kind of wasted. 1 HFD, just because it's HFD, and then we have 3 Anti-Spell. God card this format right now, literal God card. Yeah, so that is it for the profile. Going into the matchups really fast. Round 1 at Locals, I played against Sword Soul, won that 2-0. Then I played against Fulanda Rees, 1-2-1. Then I played against the Adagnister deck, which was kind of frightening. Won that one 2-1. And then I played against Dynamorphia. I played against my friend Johnny, aka Barnacle Boy. And I won that one 2-0 because Ashen Droplet is kind of nice against Dynamorphia. And then the online tournament, I played Therion Son of Elon, won that 2-1, played DDD, won that 2-1. Then I played against Sword Soul, won that 1-2-1, and then I played against Despia, won that 2-0. Online tournament is still ongoing. But yeah, that's going to do it for the deck profile. If you guys, again, have any questions, feel free to let me know down in the comment section below. As always, Winter Kill signing out. We'll see you guys in the next one. And like always, a huge thank you goes to our Divine Level channel members, who are Tweeter0226, Pony Stark, Cadillacs84, Justin Lamb, and HZH Cyber. Thank you guys so much as always for extremely kind and generous support of the channel.